I'm not gonna say me, but somebody that has the amount of followers that me or even greater. Like I think a lot of these guys are afraid of like rocking the boat or bucking the status quo and having their own followers start to attack them for supporting Hex. Like that's a real thing.
I don't think it ever even needed to become this. It was just because Richard wouldn't basically pay people off like the typical influencer playbook. Like he wouldn't pay bribes to exchanges. He wasn't really friendly with exchanges. He was telling people to get off exchanges, use their own keys, making Uniswap popular. And then I just think, yeah, well, like you said, it was such like a 90-degree to what everybody was used to. I
Well,
remember
yeah,
back in
and
the
that
day,
like
he said he got kicked out of a Telegram chat because he was in this influencer's Telegram chat. They kicked him out because the Bitcoin maxis kind of turn on you if they think you're in their camp, and then all of a sudden you make a token.
yeah.
Kind of like everybody, right? We see
It
that in our
happens in
community
hacks.
too.
Everybody, literally every day. Oh, you better not make a token. Like I'm just like, what? Like,
Oh no, the
come on,
morality
bro.
police are after you.
Yeah, but no, like
Definitely.
you're right. And one of the biggest things is like, I think Richard, he did himself a bit of a disservice making all the influencers enemies. I'm not saying he should have paid them, but like he kind of went to war against them and like just threw them all under the bus. And like those are people that have influence. So like
Hmm.
now you have these people hating you and your project because you talked badly about them, whether you
To
paid
be
them or
fair and
not.
just like kind of stick up for him is that he never threw the first punch, right? A lot of these people would say a lot of literal libel and slander, right? Just make
Yeah,
shit up. And
there's a
just
lot of that
when that
too.
happens to you, like that's actually what originally urged me to go make YouTube videos about Hex like in the first place, is that I hated seeing some guy that, built trust with me over the past 5 years. I listened to his self-help stuff. I listened to all his Bitcoin wisdom. And then all of a sudden, I think this new project is really awesome. I'm super excited about it. And I couldn't find any good content anywhere. It was all just people
No.
calling him names and saying it's a scam. And I'm like, am I the only
And
one that
the
thinks this is
maxi started
legit?
that.
Yeah.
The Bitcoin maxis absolutely started that, and I think it stemmed from him trying to use the Bitcoin name initially. It was what you said, like switching teams, creating your own coin, but also he tried to call it Bitcoin. Like that's gonna piss them off. Like,
Well, he realized too, because he would shit talk Roger Ver about Bitcoin Cash, and then he did the same thing. And he was at some point
yeah,
he was probably like, "Oh wait, yeah, I should just call it
yeah.
Hex."
And Hex is such a cool name. Like I wish he would have just went straight with Hex. Like it's an awesome name.
It's like a spell. It's like we're all under a spell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you are in a community and you think like the community, and Richard was really loving Bitcoin, so obviously he wanted to make a version which is better or according to his beliefs. So that's why he called it Bitcoin Hex, and then the story from there.
I remember in the original days, I think it was only because he had the bitcoinhex.com domain name. And he bought up a bunch of Bitcoin related domain names, and he thought the Bitcoin Hex domain sounded cool. And then he was super excited. Like he was so excited when he got the hex.com domain name, because it's a 3-letter domain. And it
Yeah.
actually used to be Helsinki Exchange. But when they gave it up in whatever 2020, he was like, this is the only time I've ever seen him do this, where he's like, there might be a really big announcement tomorrow. And everyone was like, oh, what's he going to, like, Richard never says that. And it was literally just the 3-letter domain, which is kind of badass for marketing,
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I know we're gonna start to wrap. How long are we going here? I don't even know how long we're going, but I just want to invite people like in the community to create their own mastermind group. I host a mastermind group. It's a really great group, and I just invite people to create some type of mastermind group, not only within people in the community, but people from outside of the community that are passionate about crypto. And when I say mastermind, I mean, like, you can start with 2 people. I started with my friend Bill, and he and I talked every other week. And then we found Sergio, and then we found, 8, 10 more people. And then next thing you know, it's a group over 100 people. So I just invite people in the community to create a mastermind group of 1 to 5 to 10 people that where you talk every week. Everybody watches all these streams, bring all the information that you hear from all the different streams, and see how you can benefit from it. So, and it's relatively easy. You create a Zoom link, you pick a time, and you just say, here, we got a structure in place for crypto. You bring people in from other communities. Like, I have no reservations bringing anyone into my mastermind group outside of the Pulse Chain environment, because I know that if I can't answer the question, I know that an incredibly talented elite group of people that can bring that leverage the entire community to bring people inside the community. So I just wanted to throw that plug in there, create something, get going on it, and I think you'll find a lot of benefit in doing that.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys did a great job of keeping HEX fun and being on the HEX conference this year. So thanks again for being on.
Thank you, man.
I had a lot of fun.
It was a pleasure. Keep it fun for 2025.
Keep it fun.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to play the intro for our next speaker. And again, thanks to all of you for coming on.
Thanks, Maddie. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Nice to meet everybody.
The only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, 5, 5, 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. ICOs, pump and dumps, they always try to take you. Buy low, sell high, I'm tired of your fake news. You need a token, you broken, you wanna see some massive gains? Lambo, new crib, model wife, cash and chains. Look no further at your final destination. Don't be complacent every day when you paper chasing. Choose the best, leave the rest. Stop investing like you press the only crypto that you'll ever.
What's up, Freddie?
What's up, brother? How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
That's pretty good. Like, my son plays t-ball, and we have like walk-up songs for them to come on, and it's just cool to have your own walk-up music.
Yeah, that was your song for anybody that doesn't know.
That is super cool, man. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
Well, I'm really excited to hear this is your follow-up talk to a talk that you gave at the first HEX conference. And so I'm excited to let you take it away here.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
As most of you know, I am Freddie Quotes, the writer of the Hexagon Anthem, the Furu's Eulogy, danced on some coffins. A lot of people didn't like it, but it is what it is. I'm a proud Hexagon, father, husband, follower of Christ. I stand before you again here to share the evolution of our collective journey in the crypto world. Since 2019, our vision has only grown more clear, our commitment stronger, and our community more vibrant. I return to you with an update, not just on our crypto journey, but on the very essence of what we're building together. A community, a vision, and a future where personal sovereignty and collective strength are intertwined. In the spirit of progress, let's talk about Pulse Chain, the innovation that echoes the genius of Richard Hart. Pulse Chain is Richard Hart's response to the limitations of existing blockchains and isn't just another blockchain. It's a faster, more efficient version of ETH, designed to reduce costs and increase transaction speeds. Imagine ETH, but with the capacity to handle more transactions per second at a fraction of the cost. This isn't just a technological advancement. It's a revolution in accessibility, making the decentralized future a reality for more people. And within this ecosystem, HEX and Pulse shine as beacons of opportunity. HEX, as I've shared before, is not just a cryptocurrency. It's a philosophy of time investment. With Pulse Chain, HEX's potential amplifies. It's like giving the best athlete the fastest track to run on, then the possibilities become boundless. HEX, as we know, goes beyond traditional cryptocurrency. It's an investment in time, in patience, and belief in one's future self. With Pulse Chain, HEX finds its true calling, becoming a beacon of what's possible when we marry high ideals with practical innovation. Pulse then acts as the fuel, the currency that powers the new universe, making transactions swift and cost-effective. Let's shift our gaze from technology to something, though, that is even more profound: our diversity. Our strength as a community doesn't come from uniformity, but from the rich tapestry of backgrounds, experiences, and ideas we bring to the table. Diversity in thought, culture, and approach has always been the crucible for innovation in the crypto world. However, this diversity only strengthens us if we truly embrace it. Embracing diversity means listening to voices different from our own, learning from them, and integrating these varied perspectives into our collective journey. It means recognizing that someone from a completely different walk of life or someone who publicly invests in trash coins might just have the key to solving a problem that we couldn't see. When we open ourselves to these diverse insights, we're not just building a stronger HEX or Pulse community, we're crafting a more resilient, adaptable, and vibrant ecosystem. In this context, Richard Hart's fight against the encroachments of corrupt government become even more poignant. We're not just fighting for financial freedom, we're advocating for a world where individuals' unique contribution is valued and where freedom isn't just a buzzword, but a lived reality. HEX and Pulse are more than investments, they're symbols of this fight, tools for empowerment, and platforms for expression in a world that often seeks to homogenize. Now let's address the elephant in the room, freedom. Richard Hart, through his ventures, embodies the fight against the overreach of corrupt governments. He's not just building cryptocurrencies, he's constructing bastions of personal sovereignty. In a world where central banks can devalue your savings with the stroke of a pen, HEX and Pulse stand as defenses against such financial tyranny. They're not just investments, they're statements of independence and a testament to the belief that our financial future should not be dictated by those who do not have our best interest at heart. Being a Hexakin or a Pulsakin is about more than financial gain. It's about investing in a vision of a world where your time, your effort, and your freedom are respected and rewarded. Just as I urged in 2020 to invest in your thoughts, I now ask you to invest in this vision. Challenge the status quo. Embrace the discomfort of change and open your minds to the possibility that these products bring. Now let's talk about goals. In 2020, I spoke of setting audacious goals that make people laugh at their audacity. Today, I reaffirm that call, but with an added layer. Let your goals reflect the diversity of our community. Whether it's financial independence, educational outreach, or simply spreading the ethos of what HEX and Pulse stand for, your goals should echo the diverse strengths we possess as a community. Think big, set audacious goals. Remember when Richard decided to create HEX, he didn't aim for mediocrity, he aimed for the moon. And here we are, not just reaching, but touching the stars. Excuse me. Your goal should be equally grand, not just for personal gain, but for the collective upliftment of our community. Visualize this future, not just for yourself, but for all of us. Imagine a world where every member of this community, no matter their background, no matter the tokens they invest in, no matter the disagreement, can achieve their dreams because they have access to tools like HEX and Pulse. Visualize overcoming obstacles, not just personally, but as a collective, learning from each delay, setback, government attack, or market dip. Visualize our success. See yourself overcoming the hurdles, just as we've seen with HEX's development. Every delay, every audit was a step towards making it stronger. Just like every challenge you face will make you stronger, and every challenge the community faces makes us stronger. In closing, let this be your call to action. Invest in your thoughts, invest in your freedom, invest in each other. Let's fail forward together, learn, adapt, and grow. Because in this community, success isn't just a possibility, it's a promise to ourselves and to each other. Here's to creating our own luck, to building a future where we control our destiny, where we're not just participants, but architects of a new financial era. I look forward to making history together with every single one of you. Thank you, Maddie, for the opportunity. I really do appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Well, we've got a few more minutes to fill here, so maybe we can just chop it up about
Yeah, brother.
Hex and everything like that. I noticed you're wearing the same suit jacket as before. I think that's really cool.
I think I wore a red one last time. I was
Oh,
thinking
did
about
you?
wearing that
Okay.
one. Yeah, I was thinking about wearing it, but I was like, man, I did red last time. Let me switch it up. I'm gonna go blue this time. But
Well, you've spoken at more than one Hex conference, that's for sure.
maybe there's a chance that I've worn this at a different one. There's definitely a chance of that.
Well, nevertheless, I really like that you followed up based on a previous talk that you had given. I can't believe it's 5 years ago now.
Dude, it feels like yesterday, man. We've
Yeah.
all been through so much meetups and conferences and dips and pumps and lots of fun. And I want to say something, Maddie, if I can, and something. And I know I wanted my speech today to be motivational, bring everyone together. There's always so much going on in the community. There's so many egos, and I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. You get on a screen and there's something about having the likes go up and the views go up. There's something to that, right? But we are all one. We're one community, and we're very diverse. We all go to different places, but I want to thank you. You constantly stream. I don't know how many weeks you've been going now. 200 and something, I think I saw. Is that right?
214.
Yeah, 214, man. That's awesome. And there's people that come at you, and it's kind of frustrating, but I know there's so many different walks and so many different people in the community, but there's things that the people get upset with you at that the OA does that they don't get upset with the OA about. So that's really
Right.
frustrating to me, that they have expectations for you, but they don't hold those same expectations for the OA. And when you send out the invite, like you do every single time you hold a conference, I really, really, really wanted to be able to speak just to show you my support and say thank you for everything that you've done for us, man. I really do appreciate it. Maddie didn't pay me to say this. I don't have any of Maddie's tokens or anything like that, but I sit back and I watch and I see it, and I'm like, people are cool with Richard taking SAC funds to go into ETH and then hopefully using those to pump things at some point. But then they get mad when anyone else in the community does the same thing. It's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think people don't always have all the information, and rumors abound, and there are some people that they're just trying to tear people apart and to find any little thing, even if it's not true, to hate on. And
Sure.
But yourself being an amazing example of someone who is showing up to the HEX conference, spreading positivity, and that's a particular kind of leadership that I really admire, because other people, they might say, well, I'm not going to show up because there's somebody else showing up that they don't agree with, and it's the diversity of our opinions and the strength of our leaders that is going to take us the distance here, as it has so far. So yeah, it's really great to see when people are working together.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I don't know how much time you had me up here for. I'll stay as long as you need me, man. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you. I think you're down south now, right?
I moved to Austin, Texas, just in the past couple weeks.
How is it? Do you like it?
Yeah, so far so good. I've been, ever since I got here, I've been planning this conference pretty much nonstop. But yeah, I mean, even the weather is way different than Illinois.
They say it takes 6 months to really get settled into a new place with boxes and getting stuff set up and everything. But hopefully it doesn't take you quite that long.
And I would say that out of all the locations that were visited for the HEX tour, the original HEX tour that went around in 2021 with Abit and Patrick, Crypto Sparbach, they visited over 40 cities in the US. And Texas and Austin was the largest meetup out of any of the 40 cities, except for the last one in Las Vegas, where we were doing the big conference. But yeah, so there's tons of hexagons here. There are tons of crypto people and there's like 100 or more people moving to Austin every day from, outside of our community. So yeah, it's
wild.
definitely a good place to be.
Yeah, well, I hope you get a chance to rest after the conference and
Yeah, thanks.
and soak up Austin a little bit. I've never been to Austin. There's only been a couple places in Texas I have been. I've been mostly just on layovers. I haven't had a chance to go out. So I was born in the DC area, and I'm a diehard Redskins fan. And our biggest rivals are the Cowboys. And one of my good friends, actually a Hexagon, was down there for work, and he was like, "Man, we were born to hate Cowboys fans. Everyone there is so nice. Every single time I go to Dallas, everyone is just so cool. It's hard to hate them. Like you get there and they're just the most friendly people you'll ever meet. So there's something to the Southern hospitality. That is a thing. That is absolutely a thing.
Yeah, for sure. And Texas also they don't have state income tax, so that's pretty cool. They've got different like incentives set up, so it's not as good as Puerto Rico, I guess, but it's definitely better than Illinois. That's for sure.
I saw something the other day that said the IRS is holding off on requiring crypto reporting until 2026. And I think it's probably because of all the talk of Trump coming in saying, hey, we're not going to tax crypto.
One of the reasons I saw is that the crypto exchanges, they didn't like upgrade their tech to be able for people to basically report what accounting method they're using with their crypto, whether it's first in, first out, or whether it's like a more exotic method. The IRS was doing this like heavy-handed, which would have been really bad for like OG Bitcoiners or people who've been in crypto for multiple years who have, different ways of doing their taxes legally. But this would have forced all the people in crypto to like if you didn't declare something by the end of the year, which already passed, then, you would have been in big trouble going forward, not being able to like claim the actual cost basis that you had for the crypto, basically for the accounting method that you're using. But luckily, yeah, the IRS, like they backed off and they said that people don't have to declare their method until next year.
Yeah.
Or
hopefully by then
so
we will have some legislation through that we don't ever have to worry about it ever again.
Yeah, totally.
That would be ideal.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad that we got to chat and that you were able to give your talk as well.
Thank you.
So thanks again for being on, and thanks for being a leader here in the HEX community.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Keep doing you, Maddie.
Yep, right on.
Have a good one.
All right, peace.
Bye-bye.
That's a HEX flex. Making money, yeah, we going by the X's. Yeah, HEX, all we know about is excess. Turn a Fiat on ramp to an expressway. That's a HEX flex. Hey, that's a HEX flex. Making money, yeah, we going by the X's. Yeah, HEX, all we know about is excess. Turn a Fiat on ramp to an expressway. That's a HEX flex. Hey, yeah, we up next. Shut up with that scam mess, cause we up in HEX. They showed a lot of disrespect, now they can cut the check. They had a lot to say, well now they can't say nothing else. They had some gains, things changed, now it's nothing left. Hey, money went into some means, ended up and left. HEX is up and to the right, they up and to the left. They looking up and down, everything around wreck. Should've dropped 100 when you found HEX.
Hey, Mark Wild, how's it going?
Good. Hey, Matty. Thanks for having me. How are things?
Great. Yeah. How's everything going with you?
Absolutely great. Couldn't be more happier.
Awesome. Well, you are a HEX author and a longtime Hexakin, and we've had you on the program before, but I'm excited for you to be able to give your talk here. I think we have you scheduled for 10 minutes.
That's good. Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome. I'll let you take it away.
All right, great. Thanks a lot. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being here on this fifth conference, fifth big enterprise by Matti. For those of you who don't know me, My name is Mark Wild, and I'm the author of Second Crypto Revolution, Build Generational Wealth with Richard Hart's crypto ecosystem. I've been in the HEX community since early 2020, and the book was published roughly 6 months before Pulse Chain launched, which was December 2022. I mean, the book, not Pulse Chain. By now, it's reached thousands of people and hopefully onboarded some of you. Some of the books were sold. A lot of them were given away as an onboarding tool, as a help to bring more people in. Today, however, I don't really want to talk about the book itself, since it's been 2 years since it was published. A little bit of a spoiler alert. I wanted to talk a bit more about Richard Hart's vision as being more than many people probably think of. So let's take a look at very briefly. Let's take a look at some historical events in our ecosystem, right? So what we have is HEX launching in December 2019. There is a lot of skepticism. Is it legit? Is it going to be a rug pull or whatever else? However, by the end of 2020, it seems like HEX had proven itself. The big payday marked the end of the hyperinflationary phase, and it went flawlessly. The price of HEX stabilized above 1 cent, which back then, believe me or not, it was a dream come true for a lot of early adopters. Fast forward to Q3 2021, and HEX hits 50 cents, half a dollar, right? A lot of early adopters became millionaires or multimillionaires. HEX went from just another crypto project to a major player. And I think that that's the time when traditional finance started paying attention, and not in a friendly way. So we're still in 2021 because all these events were kind of like interlaced with each other, and sacrifices for Pulse Chain and Pulse X are announced under freedom of speech and the movement banners, if we can call it like that. I remember that back then most thought it was just a legal strategy, but to me it seems it always has been a part of a bigger plan. So then came 2022, and as we all know, this is where a lot of people realized that the probably most brutal bear market ever is already here. Richard's last live stream was in July. I think it was July 18, 2022. And it certainly seemed that he knows something we didn't back then, right? And then by November of the same year, 2021, the SEC started targeting HEX influencers with subpoenas, right? Fast forward a little bit more, and we have May 2023. Pulse Chain and Pulse X is launched, and just 2.5 months later, if I'm not mistaken, the SEC went after Richard Hart himself and whatever else they thought about HEX, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X. I think for many, and especially for me, it became crystal clear this wasn't just about HEX or Pulse Chain or Pulse X or even Richard Hart himself. It was about Richard building an alternative system to what we know and use every day. And that system is based on freedom of speech, freedom of movement, and the freedom to transact. Later in the same year, in 2023, Richard hired top US lawyers to fight back against the SEC. And it still seems, I guess, that he wasn't just defending his project, he was defending the right to innovate. And that brings us to 2024, right? I think we can all agree that Richard's legal team battled the SEC head on, and they've been winning. Any day now, we'll see if the court agrees with that sentiment. And Justice Richard seemed ready to claim victory, or at least partial victory. One of the most irrelevant countries in Europe, called Finland, in even more increasingly irrelevant European Union, jumps in and is trying to use some institutions, namely Europol, which some never even heard of, and Interpol, to go after Richard, right? Which seems to be yet another attack. Look, I'm sure that Europol and Interpol have done a lot of good work in general, but they've also been used to target innocent people. A lot of members of our community made a lot of research into it, and it's not that hard to find that they are not crystal clear where it comes to the institutions themselves are not crystal clear when it comes to the intentions. I can even tell you that I know someone quite well personally who also was issued a red notice by Interpol based on alleged tax evasion. I guess that sounds familiar, right? Anyway, what this means for us, okay? So HEX started as a revolutionary savings protocol, and for me, and I think for many of us, it looks like it's a movement for freedom to speak, to move, and to control your money. It's not that hard to see that in today's world, the governments are tightening control, central bank digital currencies are looming, financial systems are being manipulated, and Richard's Heart's ecosystem might be the lifeline we need. Most likely it is. So I think that you don't have to love HEX, Richard Hart, or his projects. Maybe you are into another coin in any blockchain or ecosystem that might even outperform what we have here. But then I would like you to ask yourself, what good are your gains, or will be your gains at the top of this bull market and the future bull markets, if the government or governments decide how you can spend the money? This is more, for me, this is more than just about profits. It's about freedom. If you are rich on paper or in your whatever app monitoring your gains, but you can't really access this money, or you cannot really spend it the way you want, and you have to pretty much ask the government or other institutions for permission, then what was the point from the beginning? That's what I think where we are. That's what I think where HEX is, or is going to be in the next few years, and the whole ecosystem is the answer to that. And that's why we have all these institutions trying to prevent that from happening. So I'm very positive that 2025 is going to be amazing for all of us, for the prices, for the gains. But keep focusing on a bigger picture. The gains are not everything, so stay on. That will be it for me when it comes to the general thoughts I wanted to share, the dots I try to connect, right? When you just look back this, I don't know, the last 3 years maybe, when all of these things start to happen, just one by one, right? Like in isolation, it didn't, it didn't really look like much, right? So the first events which I mentioned, like Richard stopped streaming, and for a while, no one even noticed that he stopped streaming. It just seemed like, oh, he wasn't streaming for a month or maybe for 2 months. So, and then, okay. It was only in the hindsight, I think, when we realized that, that was the last stream in July, and it seems it's been for a reason. And then all the subpoenas started for the influencers, right? And then everything else, which I just mentioned, I don't repeat myself, start to happen. So when you start connecting all these dots, at the same time, you see what we are building here, or what Richard actually built, and we are trying to promote. I think that's the direction. Some of you might remember, well, most of you, I presume, that Richard kept saying that he's in it for the glory. And what more glorious can be than actually building and succeeding in having this alternative ecosystem, which combines finance and communication and freedom, as in opposition to, I'm going to need to beg my bank to let me withdraw $300 to do shopping, and even if they give me that $300, then I cannot, for example, buy meat because it's not allowed, right? So that's what I think. That's why that's what we are having here in the long term, apart from just pure, hopefully, price appreciation in the near future. And that's the only way I'm seeing it. You could be, and look, I do not hate on other coins. I do not hate on other ecosystems. You literally can do whatever you want with your money, and you can do whatever. Yeah, but it's again, like, get I don't know, get your Bitcoin, get your Ethereum, get whatever you want. But if a Bitcoin is $10 million per coin, but you still can't do anything with it because you're not allowed to, what's the point? For me, there is none, and that's why I'm still here 5 years on, and I'm not planning to go anywhere. And whether HEX is 1 cent or 10 cents or $5 or whatever in the next few months, few years, that's only part of it. I wouldn't say it's not important. Obviously, Richard was teaching us all from the beginning that nothing really matters in crypto apart from price appreciation. But guess what? I think that that was one of the easiest way to bring attention to HEX and to crypto in general, and to the whole project, right? If I don't know, like, purely speculating, right? If 5 years ago or 4 years ago, Richard would come up with an idea and said, I'm building this alternative financial system, which will comprise of, maybe savings protocol, blockchain, and some dexes, and you name it, what else. And this is all because, one day government is going to take all away your money, and that's why you have to, I don't know, follow me, believe me, and invest in my projects, or buy my projects, or whatever, speculate on my projects. I don't think many would listen. That was not, I wouldn't say that wasn't the case, that the governments were not already working on it. They obviously were, but not that many of us have seen it yet, and not that many people around the globe have seen it yet, and no one would be really interested in 2019, 2020 in this kind of vision, right? So I see Matt is coming in, trying to save me from repeating myself over and over again. But I hope I delivered my point, and I hope I will leave you here with something to ponder about and something to think about, in a much broader way than just what's the price of HEX or any other Richard coin today, next week, next month. That would be it for me.
Yeah, you definitely did bring a unique perspective. So I'm glad that you were able to have this topic for your talk. And thanks again, Mark Wild, for joining the conference again this year.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right,
Keep up the
take
good
care.
job and enjoy the conference.
Oh, thanks. And I'll bring up our next two speakers here after this transition. Thanks.
With a Richard Hart, it's a lot of fun that I could pick apart. Hex dominated on the weekly chart. Please don't get me started. Hey, that Hex so sexy, yo, yo, yo. We're upward trending, yo, yo, yo. This post is sending, yo, yo.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, Maddie?
What's up, Maddie? Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Thanks for filling in for this spot, and excited for you two to take it away here for about 15 minutes. And yeah, just go ahead and discuss anything you think that's relevant with HEX.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's funny, Monkey? When we jumped on the telephone call to discuss what we were going to talk about, we said, you know, there's probably going to be a couple different people that are talking about like the technicals around HEX. There's probably going to be a bunch of people talking about the philosophy around it, the staking features and all that stuff. And then we came up with an idea that I don't know if you've been able to catch some of the conference already, but what seems to be, I guess, a popular topic. Let's go ahead and talk about the community a little bit. I think that would be a good topic of conversation, especially as the HEX community moves forward. I think it's vitally important that we can look introspective and we can sort of diagnose if there are any issues, and we can certainly highlight the things that are going well. And I think that's a pretty good topic of conversation. So I know that you are one of the OGs, the early investors into HEX. First question that I had that I want to ask you is, can you describe, I guess, what was the landscape like in the community in 2019, 2020, 2021? What was your experience in those early days?
Yeah, I guess we could divide it into pre-pulse chain and post-pulse chain if there were multiple eras. If we have to divide it in two, that's kind of a common dividing line. Yeah, I guess the purpose of my aim in this call and our discussion, and by the way, nice to meet you. We've never been on the screen together before. This is cool. I love it. And I love this topic too, because as many of you know, I'm really passionate about this community. Like, it means everything to me. I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't have a token. I don't have a project. I don't have a large Twitter audience. I'm just there to connect with people. So the community is everything to me. And so I'm happy to talk about that. Yeah, there's a common perception, which I'm going to say isn't entirely accurate, which is, oh, in the good old days, we are all united because there was only one thing, this one ERC20 token. Richard was our leader, and we all rallied around the cause, and we did. And it was a great time, very special to me. And the bonds are with us to this day. But there's a misconception that everything was great then, and then all of a sudden it became not great, and there's all this division and conflict. So my first counter to that is, from the beginning there was conflict, and I'm going to steer this towards what's awesome about both eras. But even back in the early days, there was all kinds of arguing, infighting, conflict, and it unfortunately got heated and personal at times. A couple examples, like, you would think it wouldn't be a big deal, but stake long versus have a elongated ladder versus hold liquid. We were all trying to figure the system out, and there were some intense debates about that. Oh, don't tell me to lock up my stuff 15 years. You're just trying to use me as exit liquidity, or something like, just total nonsense. Meanwhile, nobody ever said only stake long. People said build a ladder, and here's some advantages of maybe building it out very far into the future. So there were like bitter disputes about that. And it was usually as just like today, and just as always, it was a small, angry, active minority of people that were constantly causing trouble. But that's just one example. There was also, like, shout out to Freddie Quotes, who was on a little bit ago. Got fired up by his speech. Good job, buddy. So he put out a couple videos, like his coffin video. He even made reference to it. Everyone went nuts about that. This is shameful. This is really obnoxious. It's too much. No, it's awesome. Imagine like arguing with your own community about whether someone's creation is good or not. Like, and then especially they retroactively assign, oh, he marked the top and shouldn't have done that at his fault. I mean, you know how wacko people's thoughts can get. So there was conflict. And the only other example I can think of is like RG3 and Kinetics worked real hard to create some initiatives behind the scenes, like their HEX investment trust, which is not exactly an ETF, but it's similar to that, and it's private, and it was a lot of work went into that. A lot of people worked real hard on that, and it was just a hard sell. You know, it's hard to get TradFi people to, especially back then, but people like hated on them and told them they're wasting their time. This is stupid. You're just trying to make money, and it really wasn't right, wasn't fair, and wasn't necessary.
And once the price broke a penny, did you sort of start seeing that division and that infighting start to quiet down a little bit as, you know, new all-time highs were being made and, you know, the price just kept surging and surging and surging?
Well, actually, at least those examples I was giving were even after the big price bumps. It's just let's face it, it's a passionate, very intelligent community, and people get intense, you know, because we're the community, we're the family, and who are the people around you? These people. So if I feel like yelling, I'm going to yell at them. That's
absolutely
human nature. Happens in families, happens in college fraternities, happens in countries, it's a well-known kind of thing.
So what are you seeing now after, let's say, the launch of Pulse Chain? You know, Pulse Chain launches May of 2023. What are you seeing now, I guess, after that point? Are you seeing, are you seeing more harmonious, kind of a unified front? Are you seeing more division? What are you seeing now?
I think since Pulse Chain launched, and even during the long phase of time where we were waiting for it to launch, it got more intense and more divisive. But there's always nuance here, so we got to break it down. It's not everyone, it's not every issue, and it's not even all bad. Like, I'm going to even make the case that division is good, and we just got to drop the weapons and remember, I'm jumping to the punchline, but we got to remember what unites us. It's really big and really important and really precious. But in terms of what the divisions that went down, there's one category of division that's inevitable, which is we're not just an ERC20 token anymore. We're a whole L1. We're a whole blockchain. So almost by definition, people are going to find their lane. It's natural. The meme coin people got excited and created meme coins on their new chain. And that's a good example that I like using, because that's not my thing at all, meme coins. I don't know which ones are good or bad. I don't have time for that. It just doesn't fit into my life or my portfolio, but I'm sure as heck happy that they're on Pulse Chain and not somewhere else. So that's just one example, but we broke into, like, you know, the meme coin people went that way. People that wanted to build stuff on Pulse Chain went over there. The hardcore, I hate the term maxis because everyone's got their own definition of it, but the maxis walked over there. And this is actually healthy because it's like economic specialization, but applied to our community. Everybody could let their, you know, desires and strengths come out and turn into products, projects. Some people, RG3 went on tour and called it Pulse Chain Tour and decided to, you know, his wheelhouse was engaging with people in person. So everybody was doing different things. And this is healthy. This is good because we were also larger. But regrettably, those different groups that chose their own lane and were passionate about it started hating on each other.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. So in your opinion, what needs to happen in order for that division to be cured, in order for it to be more harmonious and more of a unified community, in your opinion? I mean, obviously there's always going to be some sort of division amongst any ecosystem, amongst any group. And that's, we can talk, not just specifically about cryptocurrency. You can talk about politics, you can talk about sports teams, you can talk about any aspect of life where there's going to be a large following, a large fan base. There's always going to be some sort of disagreement amongst the groups.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what would be your prescription for becoming more unified? What does the community need to do to repair that division that you've observed?
Yeah, I guess some things are just how do I build up to this? Yeah, that some things are just shifts up here, mental shifts, like to zoom out and remember why we're all here. So that's a mental call to action. And then, so for example, guys, it's no joke. We're on a, like it or not, we're on a mission for DeFi. And there's people that don't like DeFi that are coming after us. And it's time to drop our petty differences of HEX versus PHEX, meme versus maxi, calling everyone a scammer that has a different opinion than you, when in reality, the number of actual bad actors or scammers, it's like, I don't even need a whole hand to count them. People got in the habit of calling, oh, you launched something, so you're a scammer. Oh, you had a sacrifice, so you're a scammer. No, a lot of these projects had sacrifices that then the resulting token didn't perform well in the market in the following several months or few years. But that's because everyone was FOMOing in the bull times. It doesn't mean that those founders orchestrated a scam. I'm sure they weren't happy with the way it, all played out either. So I guess the first thing is, and by the way, I'm directing this message towards the well-intentioned, passionate members of this community, such as those that will be watching this stream. The mental cases who just get off on aggressive insulting and trolling, and you can't reason with them. It's almost mental disorder stuff. They probably can't be helped. But I'm speaking to those of you who maybe got pulled into an ego battle or a difference of opinion that accidentally went too far. And I'm asking you it's never too late to let that go. Like there's many examples. We don't have that much time, but the one that hurt my feels the most, I think, was the HEX PHEX craziness. And I'm going to explain why it hurt my feels. It has nothing to do with what I think about either choice. I watched it happen in real time in a detached manner. It's almost like maybe it's a superpower of being a middle-aged guy, not a hot-headed youngster like I used to be. But I watched it happen in real time, where you got for lack of a better term, let's call it the HEX people and the PHEX people. It's just those who are particularly defending one side or the other. I watched in real time as they misquoted, misunderstood each other. So they're fundamentally not even arguing about the correct things. And then it got too intense and too personal, which amplifies it. But I watched it happen. I watched the PHEX advocates make their case. I'm drilling down just to this one example as an example of how things get out of hand. The quote unquote PHEX people, all they were saying was, let's focus our marketing endeavors on this new chain. That's why it was created. Let's go for that. The other side turned around and said, oh, they're telling you to dump your HEX, telling you it's worthless and it's stupid and nobody should. And no, they didn't say that. So it's a real easy misunderstanding in a way. Like you just have to, especially online and Twitter, if those factions were in the same room together, just talking it out, there wouldn't have been as much misunderstanding. Now flip on the other side. The HEX advocates never said polarity is guaranteed. They're both exactly the same. Everyone should go equal on both. They never said that. All they said was, hey, there's still some value here on Ethereum. Don't abandon it entirely. Maybe it's more of a game for sharks and whales. That's all they said. and then the PX side misinterpreted that and misquoted them and said, see, they're just trying to they're going to wreck you if you listen to them. They're scammers. So this actually broke my heart while it was happening, because I watched it happen. I almost wanted to reach out to the parties like, no, you misunderstood. Don't say that. You can still retract.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So one example about how something can spiral out of control. So in a few minutes, we can get to what the remedy might be. But
yeah, absolutely. And that's where actually I was going to go. So we went ahead and we talked about the early days. We talked about the infighting that was going on in the early days. We talked about where we currently are, the division that we see right now. You talked a little bit about how the community can repair itself. What does a unified community look like? What can the HEX community strive towards? And how do we get there?
Yeah, well, I think to rectify this situation, since there's all kinds of different problems, there's not one hard, fast rule, but I'd say mentally reflect on why we're here in the first place. Just like you would if you had like a fight with one of your best friends. That son of a, how could he say that? I'm going to get it. Then you zoom out and say, hey, we've been friends for 10, 20 years. He's always been there for me. But by analogy, here we are in the HEX and Pulse community. Like, remember what brought us here: DeFi, self-sovereignty, control your own keys, all these things that we kind of take for granted now. It was pretty radical at the time. Yeah, I like Fast Abdul's suggestion. That's a good one. Should have thought of that. But the first thing is just a mental shift. Just remember what brought us here in the first place. And remember how awesome we are. Now, by the way, this is not to be confused with people like to mock this and say, ooh, it's kumbaya people. No, I'm not saying invite 3,000 Hexicans to your wedding or your Christmas party and you're all best buddies for life. No, I'm saying find your favorite subgroup and friend group and chat group, either free or paid for, and go be your best self with those people. But remember that in the big picture, we're one community filled with brilliant, passionate, motivated, smart people. We each have our own lane, and we are to celebrate the lanes that the other people are on. So I want everybody to like make that mental shift. If you're feeling resentful or bitter or, oh, this community isn't what it used to be, I'm telling you, if you look at your Twitter feed, it might seem that way. But if you look from any other direction, like the real life meetups or even the kind of the private groups, people have started poo-pooing that, but private groups were created out of like a necessity to keep out the trolls and the insults. And it's a more pleasant place to be. So I'd say same thing. Stop calling everyone a scammer just because you don't have the same opinion as them. They're not a scammer. Maybe their project failed. Maybe they're bummed out about it. Maybe something was high risk and not enough people came in. It went to zero. Remember how we always used to be mad when people called RH a scammer? We're like, who was scammed? He's not a scammer. This coin may not be for you, but it doesn't make it a scam. So we don't want to be hypocrites and call each other scammers when in fact it's not the case. But we are to celebrate this whole chain. Like, as just one example, we got 4 DEXs. We got PulseX, 9-inch, 9mm, and PHUX, each with different feature sets. I've used all 4 of those. Maybe there's more, but those are the main ones. And like, you don't need to be you don't have to have one of those be your favorite and hate on the other group. It's just out of control. We need all of them here. And the same thing with all these wonderful ragtag pirates in our community. So I'd say
absolutely,
it's time to zoom out, celebrate ourselves. Yay, us, yay. But it's for real. They're coming after DeFi people. The banks and the centralized exchanges have the lobbyists and the power. That is still the case. There is still legislation on the table so that DeFi websites have to do KYC or they're sanctioned. This is big stuff. All this petty bickering, like the best thing to do if it's destructive. The best thing to do, what I want you to do, even if you think you're right, even if you want to call somebody out, something you disagree with, direct that energy instead towards
Uniswap.
Yeah, actually.
Dunk on Uniswap every chance
and,
you get.
And shout out to the people that are already doing that. I see you.
Any final thoughts, Maddie?
The people to troll are the banks and the central exchanges or the haters of our whole community, not each other. Even if you think you're right. The best thing to do is just, if you don't like somebody, ghost them. Just ghost them, ignore them, unfollow them, whatever. But the trash talking has to stop because people on the outside see it and say, I don't want any part of this.
I agree with everything you guys have said. And, you know, that it's been an important segment that you guys have reflected on and brought out. And as Corey Geary says here, Hex Monkey is spot on. And yeah, so you both did a great job with your talk. And I want to thank you for being on the conference.
Absolutely, man. Ton of fun. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, thanks so much, Maddie. Great to be here.
And what we've got up next is an 8-minute ad that goes into the PH ecosystem. Like Hex Monkey was saying, there's a decentralized exchange and more. And so I'm going to play that, and then we'll have a 9-person panel come on up after that. So yeah, thanks for being on, guys.
Insane staking on East and Post. We on 2 chains. How the coins didn't fit. What was I supposed to do? Not stake and stay broke with you? Shit. Bar HEX for 4 years. Trying to DCA. Got post chain, post sec. Trying to DCA. Now the world gon' see. Rich already changed the game. Which is why the hell you see me DCA in the post chain. Bar HEX for 4 years. Trying to DCA. Got post chain, post sec. Trying to DCA. Now the world gon' see. Things will never be the same. Ever since we launched our own thing on our own chain. Bar HEX for 4 years. Trying to DCA. Got post chain, post sec. Trying to DCA. Now the world gon' see. Rich already changed the game, which is why the hell you see me DCA it in the post chain. Bar HEX for 4 years. Trying to DCA. Got post chain, post sec. Trying to DCA. Now the world gon' see things will never be the same ever since we launched our own thing on our own chain. You other Sammy Chicas need to get your crypto coffee to wake up and out of ditches so you go from rags to bitches.
The PH ecosystem was created by a group of Hexicans who have successfully migrated proven Ethereum-based DeFi solutions to Pulse Chain. This truly decentralized ecosystem replaces traditional financial intermediaries with battle-tested code, never to be stopped or interfered with. By eliminating middlemen, users can become co-owners of the system, earning a share of the revenue generated by various dApps within the protocol. I'll explain everything you need to know in this short and easy to understand video, but bear in mind that there's no financial advice on this channel. I'm just gathering the facts so my lazy friends don't have to. Within this ecosystem, fiat serves as the crypto version of a bank, allowing lending and borrowing of cryptocurrencies. It is a fork of Aave and operates as a peer-to-peer lending protocol specifically designed for the Richard Heart ecosystem, running on both Ethereum and Pulse Chain. Similar to a traditional secured line of credit where collateral, such as a house or car, is required, fiat allows you to deposit various cryptocurrencies. After depositing some of your crypto to earn interest, you can choose to borrow against it. This loan can be repaid at any time as long as it remains over-collateralized. The interest keeps accruing until you do, and combined with the volatile nature of the crypto market, this can rapidly change your collateral ratio, potentially leading to liquidation. Half of the interest that these borrowers pay to the protocol is forwarded to the lenders, while the other half goes to stakers of the fiat token. the platform's utility and governance token. This setup gives users two options to earn a share of protocol's revenue. There is no lockup period for staking fiat. However, there is an unlocking period. When you unlock your tokens, there is a cooldown process of 14 days, after which you have a 7-day withdrawal window before the cooldown process reinitiates. During this process, your stake continues to receive its share of the protocol's revenue. For those who simply hold their fiat tokens instead of staking them, their share of the rewards will be distributed to the protocol treasury. Anyway, Fame is the leverage trading platform within the PH ecosystem where users can trade various tokens with up to 30x leverage directly from their wallet. It's a decentralized perpetual exchange designed to attract users in both bull and bear markets. Fame is a fork of GMX, which outperformed every other coin during the last bear market, generating roughly $130 million in fees in 1 year, just to give you an idea. Users willing to take on a bit more risk can easily go long and short on this platform while setting triggers at predetermined prices, either as a stop loss or to take profit. However, exercise caution when using a 10x leverage play. Even a 10% downward move would result in liquidation. Traders will be traders, and this protocol provides an opportunity for you to capitalize on that. 40% of the fees accrued in the protocol will be directed to the stakers of Fame, the platform's utility and governance token. The staking process includes a cooldown period for unlocking your tokens, and rewards for tokens that are not staked will contribute to the protocol treasury, exactly like fiat. The remaining 60% of fees accumulated in the protocol will be distributed to the holders of PHLP, the platform's liquidity pool token. To provide liquidity for Fame, you can deposit one or several of the available assets on the platform to receive tradable PHLP tokens. While this token is earning you fees from the protocol, it's important to bear in mind the risk of impermanent loss, as it represents holding these various tokens as a portfolio, not just the one or two that you initially deposited. If one of the tokens goes up exponentially, you will be left with more of the less valuable tokens. This brings us to PHUX, or the PH Universe Exchange, a programmable liquidity protocol that enables fast and efficient token swapping. Within this protocol, users can pair up to 8 tokens in both traditional weighted pools, where an equal dollar amount of each token is deposited, and customizable weighted pools to gain exposure to the tokens they are most bullish on. As a fork of Balancer, PHUX is an ideal setup for providing optimal rates with low slippage, particularly for those executing large orders. DEX aggregators browsing the network for these optimal rates are expected to route through PHUX more than once, especially for stablecoins and relatively new tokens. Participants trading in and out of the liquidity pools pay 60% of the fees to the liquidity providers, while the remaining 40% goes to holders of the VE-PHUX token, also known as PHUX governors. These governors decide which pools are extra incentivized with the PHUX token, similar to the farms on PulseX. To become a PHUX governor, users have to provide liquidity to the PHUX/wrapped PLS pair and stake the prime PHUXLP token for up to a year. This process earns users non-tradable VE-PHUX tokens that not only grant them voting power to decide which farms receive higher APYs, but also provide a bonus multiplier of up to 2.5x on the farms that they provide liquidity for. Unlocking the maximum multiplier requires a huge investment, and this is where the 2PHUX protocol comes into play. This fork of Aura is a separate, unaffiliated third-party protocol built on top of PHUX, introducing a massive pool of staked prime PHUXLP available for anyone to utilize. This enables them to approach the maximum possible boost while holding tradable tokenized VE-PHUX tokens. The voting power that comes with this is distributed proportionally to users who lock 2PHUX, the platform's utility and governance token. Users can leverage this power to vote on their favorite pools or choose to sell their votes through auctions on bribery.io, where they have the opportunity to receive bribes. While 2PHUX is still in development, it will be available soon. I'll explain the ins and outs of the protocol in an entirely separate video, so be sure to click the bell icon if you want to be notified and stay up to date on when the sacrifice phase goes live. Anyway, keeping track of all your stakes and liquidity positions in protocols like these can be challenging, especially when managing a diversified portfolio divided across various wallets. The Fatty wallet aims to address this challenge by serving as a wallet aggregator, gathering information of all your assets into one simple overview. This includes liquidity positions and stakes. In addition, Fatty also offers features like whale watching to monitor those larger players and what they're up to, along with market insights through price feeds, news articles, and YouTube videos. The PH ecosystem is an optimized version of several battle-tested DeFi solutions specifically designed for the Pulse Chain and HEX ecosystem. I'll include some useful links in the description for those interested in learning more, or simply ask your questions in the public Telegram rooms. Share your thoughts in the comments and let me know if you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell icon to get notified for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Awesome. So up next, we have our panel of 9 hexagons. So excited to bring this group on after this 45-second transition slide.
Let's talk about the highest appreciating asset class today. It's crypto, not stocks and bonds. Boy, this ain't for play. My word plays to educate the children around my way, so they can get out the hood. No, I don't want to stay. Education's critical in my life, pivotal. Could have been in jail or dead. Yeah, it's just that simple. But back to investing. Here, take some notes. Never go all in like jumping off a boat. Dollar cost averaging. Google that term so you can keep your shirt on, so you don't get burned. Now there's a risk to all investments. This you should know. You can take yearly profits and get ready to blow.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi, Maddie.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Maddie.
First day of the HEX conference. Woo!
It is the first day. We get to exit it. How nice.
Save the best for last.
So glad to be here with you guys.
Alrighty,
So
so Maddie.
I'm really excited to have everybody joining here on the panel. And I figured we could go around the room and answer some different questions, everybody, and that way everybody will get a chance to talk, and hopefully we can get the most out of the hour that we have together.
Right.
Sounds good.
Absolutely, I agree. Hey, Maddie, I do got one thing I need to say though. When you
Please.
put us on, make sure that all the DJ Roundtable people are in the corners.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but we can try.
All the corners.
Tell you what, Mr. Will Stevenson, Command Cadre, can you please take charge?
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and take charge here. Maddie, first and foremost, thank you for bringing us all together today and putting on this conference as you have for the last 5 years. Thank you so much. For the folks at home who have never seen us before, I will go ahead and start off introductions. Hello, everybody. My name is Will Stevenson. I'm an iron worker that travels the United States. And in my off time, I like to talk about cryptocurrency with my fellow DGen Roundtable members. Oh, camera right over here. And that's what I do, and that's who I am. But before we get into the conversation today, we're going to go do a round robin, starting with Mr. Hex Ninja, then Tim, Zenith, Brendan over there, then Nate, Okeechobee, Crypty, and finishing off with KG. Go ahead and introduce yourselves for the folks at home who have never seen you before. Who are you, and what's new and exciting with you?
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Taylor, Hex Ninja on Twitter. I've been in Hex for a while. I love this community. I've met Abit and Patrick on the tour in Vegas when they started it off back in 2021. And I just kept following them ever since. I just had so much fun at the conferences that I just wanted to keep the show going. I didn't plan on doing the whole tour, but I did most of the tour. So I'm just very glad to have met so many people in person, including Crypty, KG, Maddie, Tim. I look forward to meeting you DJ and Roundtable guys in the future. This is what I love about Hex.
Excellent. Right. Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Hex Ninja. Mr. Tim, who are you? And for the folks at home who have never seen you, what's new and exciting with you, my friend?
Well,
My name's Tim, obviously, and been in HEX since day one and have had the privilege of speaking at practically all of Maddie's conferences, which I do appreciate very much. I love sharing whatever I can with people. All in on Pulse Chain and just the whole Richard Hart ecosystem. I got everything I got into it and no regrets. I love it. I'm looking forward to a very exciting year ahead. We've got so many things that are lined up for our benefit to experience some real explosive growth. And I hope you all be a part of it. Yeah, just doing my crypto thing and living my life and just glad to be here.
Excellent. Thank you, Tim. Mr. Zenith, for the folks at home who have never seen you before, who are you? What do you do? And what's new and exciting with you, bro?
How's it going, folks? I am Zenith of the DGen Roundtable, as Will just said, but I'm a bit of a budding legal expert under the stewardship of our good friend Nuclear Herbs. And other than that, when I'm not reading court documents for fun, I'm also watching Jerome Powell on the Federal Reserve press conferences. Yes, a bit boring, but it is what it is. So if you have any questions about the Richard Hart legal case or any of the legal case surrounding, go ahead and save that probably for the Thursday show. The first segment, I'm going to be hopping on there with Nuclear Herbs, and that should be a good time. But other than that, Brendan, how you doing, big dog? Good to see you.
Zenith, I feel like we were just doing this last night. Great to see you, buddy.
What? Yes.
Busy streaming week for us, but super happy to be here. Want to give Maddie a thanks. I think this is my third or fourth conference that I am speaking at. Very excited to be here. Very excited to see some new faces, some old faces alike. Not by age, but just in time in the HEX universe, in the Pulse Chain universe. And, I just want to tell people, be excited, because what's going to happen in 2025 and beyond in this ecosystem for HEX, for Pulse Chain, it's really going to change lives. And I know it's very easy for FUD infighting to happen when there's red candles. Once those green candles start to take off, once we're above sack rate, things are going to change. It doesn't mean that we won't fight sometimes, but we'll be a little bit more excited. So I'm excited to chop this up with all of you today. And I don't know who I'm throwing this to next. I guess, Crypty, how you doing?
Oh, good. Is it going down? Are we going in a circle?
I don't know.
Well,
all the pictures got messed up, so
we'll go ahead and go with you, Crypty. You'll go next. Okeechobee will go next after Crypty, then KG, then we'll finish off with Nate, and I'll toss it back to you, Crypty, after that. So, Crypty, who are you? For the folks who have never seen you or heard of you before, who are you? What do you do? And what's new and exciting?
I'm Crypty. I'm a Gen Z girl in crypto, and I was blessed by SkiCat back in December 2020 with 3 million HEX that I staked out 2 million of it for 15 years. And I laddered the other 1 million HEX, staking it all the way up to 15 years. And I feel I'm just here to pump our HEX bags on this conference, and my goal is in the future to lead a really big humanitarian project with my HEX gains. So that's who I am.
Excellent. Good to see you, Crypty. Welcome to this little chat. Mr. Okeechobee, who are you for the folks who have never seen or heard from you before? And what's new and exciting with you, my friend?
All right. Yo, it's Oka. I'm a Twitch streamer, gamer, music artist, content creator, and I've been in HEX since 2021. Ever since I took dollar cost crypto and cultivate crypto mindset course. Shout out
Moon Gang.
Yep. And what's new and exciting? Oh, I also have a song, Pulse, the Pulse Chain Anthem. If anybody hasn't heard it, it's out on YouTube with the animation music video. And what's new with me is I'm gonna be recording more music this year, not crypto related, but songs that I've wrote like going all the way back to 2012. It's kind of like what I've like prepared for. So yeah, more music coming soon from Oka.
Get it, man. Hell yeah.
Love to hear it. Mr. KG of Internet Money, who are you? What do you do? And what's new and exciting with you, amigo?
I'm KG of Internet Money, as you said. Well, I am the founder of Internet Money Wallet. And for those that don't know what that is, it's the only wallet in existence that is built by the Pulse Chain community, native to Pulse Chain, optimized for Pulse Chain on Android, iOS, and Chrome. So what have I been doing? The last 3 years, we've been building the best wallet in crypto that does everything you need for Pulse Chain and can completely replace MetaMask right here, right now, today. And what's new and exciting is the next big feature that we're rolling out is going to be a fiat on and off ramp to many different chains, but most importantly, a fiat on ramp directly into Pulse Chain and under certain dollar amounts will have no KYC. So Internet Money Wallet, fiat on-ramp into Pulse Chain, no KYC, coming soon on Android, iOS, and Chrome.
Wow. Oh man, I'm getting that right away.
And I saw a super chat for that. So I don't know if that was pulled up or not, but whoever gave that
is
super chat, shout out.
absolutely awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, KG. This is going to be a good conversation. Then finishing off in introductions, Mr. Nate, the Ascending Man. Broski, who are you for the folks at home who have never heard of you before? And what is new and exciting with you?
Well, I am the Ascending Man with DGen Roundtable, and I am always looking to ascend my crypto gains, and so that's why I go around with these fabulous people, always looking to see, hey, where are the deals at, and what more can I do to perhaps create some money printers, so that way, I can have passive income.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, now the folks at home know who each and every single one of our panels are. Our panelists, excuse me, we do it live, and we'll go ahead and jump on into conversation. Miss Crypty, you had said earlier back in the green room that we got some fun and fantastic little topics of conversation to go through. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it to you. You said you have a question for some of the panelists. Let's hear it.
Yes. Okay. Question after. I'm going to share with you an idea that I think you'll love. So I was brainstorming, and this moment of inspiration hit me while I was lounging on the couch in my living room. And I was thinking, we need more exposure, visual exposure to HEX again, like we had the last bull cycle, where we had planes going over the state fair in Oklahoma showing HEX.com. We have the cars in the NASCAR races, and we had all these big visual things. So I thought, we need something this cycle, right? And it was just around the Thanksgiving time, and I thought, oh my gosh, how cool would it be if we had a giant HEX icon balloon in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade going right through New York City that millions of people see? How cool would that be?
Very. That sounds.
How cool! So I think we should try to make that happen.
We should make that happen.
It's on my list to make it, to research what it would take. But if you guys know anyone in New York City that has any connections, then let me know. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I think it's great.
I like that. That's super cool.
Certainly a way to get eyes for sure. The
We would
idea
need
that
someone to make the balloon. So
it's
so,
details.
yeah.
That seems like a big detail for a big balloon, but whatever.
We're gonna start with the idea. We have the idea. The next is, how do we make this idea come to fruition? How do we get a spot in the parade? And then we figure out how we make the balloon.
We sneak it in.
But look, I love out of the box ideas to bring eyes to HEX into the Pulse Chain community. I think this is a good one. I think that New York is obviously the epicenter. People from around the world are watching the Macy's Day Parade, like 100 million people probably. Actually, I have no idea how many people actually watch it, but I know it's an absolute ton of people. And that might be one of the things that could bring the most eyes to HEX out of any event in the world. Pretty crazy.
It would be epic. We could have this giant HEX float, have HEX.com all over all sides of the float, have a big HEX.com on our HEX icon balloon. We could have everyone could just fly into New York City, whoever wants to be on the float, and they could dress up and be part of the float. Good vibes, like Ferris Bueller dancing and everything. We could have a marching band with people wearing the marching band have the HEX colors on the uniform, and they're playing the trumpets and confetti.
We need a Statue of Liberty holding the HEX instead of the fire.
Ooh.
Wow.
That would actually be really
That is a cool
That
idea.
sounds good.
It's interesting regarding public exposure. I put the number 55 on the doors of my car because that was the number of the NASCAR that some people sponsored. Every single person who asks me, what's all this stuff on your car, they always ask me about the number 55 first.
Dude,
every single time.
I get the same thing, man. I put 5555 stickers on the side of my truck, and anytime anyone's asking me about tattoos, they're always like, "Hey, what does the 4 5s mean on your arm? What is that?" And I always tell them, "Oh, that's like delayed gratification. Have you heard about the marshmallow thing that the teacher did?" And I launch into that little story, whatever. But they no one ever asks "Hey, what's with the bullets? What's with the kanji? What's with the thing on your neck?" It's always like, "Hey, what's with those 4 5s on your arm?" And it's
right.
It's so perfect. It's so sticky because people, I don't know, something about numerology, man. Folks just love fun,
yeah.
fancy numbers and things.
I just thought it was a tattoo of a captcha, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
that's
very
funny.
good marketing technique, the 5 5s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of marketing, though, and New York City, I think some of the best marketing that the Hexagon community does, though, is all the in-person events, because it's easy to get people together online, and we're very thankful for it. But at the same time, when you actually see people IRL doing the thing with their actual face attached to the product that they're advertising or supporting, that's the next level of support there. And by the way, I think we really showed up and showed out in New York City. We literally overflowed a federal courthouse when typically 0 people show up to these things. That was an absolute blast. And we even packed the art gallery the next day. So if you can, please show up, hang out with Hexkins, and actually be out there and show your face if you're willing to, and be actual people supporting you, not just random anonymous Twitter profiles that you don't know if it's a real person or a psyop.
It's not only that too, but when you go to these meetups, I mean, you're meeting real people, right? So you can always be a fake person online, but when you actually show up to meet someone face to face and you go to dinner with them, you're like, wow, you're a really cool dude. And you can never get that while we're just sitting here in a room like this talking, right? We actually need to meet up and have good times together. So I do agree with you there, Zenith.
And it's amazing how all the friction dissolves when you're talking to someone face to face. People have no problem fighting on the internet, but when they're face to face, that all changes. It's just, you see a real human being in front of you. They're not just a digital avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. One of the problems that a lot of people have is usually context with text, right? So say Twitter. As soon as you start just doing this on Twitter, next thing you know, things are taken out of context, and now you are getting offended, and now it's a battle, right? Versus if you are talking face to face, you're able to get that body language as well as tone and all that, and it's okay, well, I can understand that we're having a real conversation, not an argument here, and I think that's extremely healthy. So yeah, definitely face to face, or even if you start running into moments like that, even just getting on the phone, right, calling people, I think that's something else that's really important. Just hearing someone else's voice is just vital.
Well, yeah, real life direct transmission of energy is probably I don't remember if it was I think I heard this first from Aaron Clary, but Richard Hart says it all the time too. Is it just people are one of the most important things in life. So if you're not going around meeting other, it's great to be rich. It's great to have all these hex balloons and all these cool hex stakes and these Lambos and this neat islands all over the places. But if you don't have people in your life, if you're not going around meeting the folks that you're building community with and going through cool, harsh experiences and reinforcing relationships with phone calls and streams and conferences and doing all that other stuff, then it's what's even the point if you're not doing it just to hang out with more people and have more financial freedom and stuff. I'm a big believer in the real life direct transmission of energy. We've got a super chat here, by the way. Shout out to Don Montoya. Is it true that Internet Money Wallet will have a fiat on ramp directly into Pulse with no KYC? Mr. KG of Internet Money, I think this is a great question for you, my friend. You want to take it away?
Yeah, going back to the intro, that we will very soon have a direct fiat on ramp into Pulse Chain with no KYC. Now, we're here talking about HEX, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing that a lot of people don't realize is that within the Internet Money Wallet, all the Pulse Chain, HEX ecosystem things that we believe in are already natively supported within the Internet Money Wallet. So when you're out there onboarding, the easiest way to onboard somebody into HEX is about to become download the Internet Money Wallet, pull out your debit card, buy some Pulse or ETH, swap right from within the wallet, buy HEX on either chain. There is going to be no easier way in existence to acquire HEX in a very short time. So then it becomes, if you're not onboarding people into HEX or Pulse Chain through the Internet Money Wallet, you're making the user experience worse for the rest of humanity, and you're hurting everybody else because of it.
That's such a good marketing
So
speech.
if you care about HEX and Pulse Chain, you use Internet Money Wallet, or you admit you don't care about HEX and Pulse Chain.
I'll admit I've had a lot of people. I've had a lot of people that they're like, hey, I want to get into this crypto thing. What can I go? Where can I go? And of course, I'm like, hey, you need to go check out this Pulse Chain thing. But unfortunately, it's really difficult for newbies to get on chain itself. Usually it's just, even if they do get on chain too, it's usually only MetaMask. There you go. bam, and it's done. So it's really difficult. If you can get something like, hey, just download this wallet, and then there you go, you can bring your money in and buy Pulse with it. That would be absolutely huge. And this has been one of the, I want to say, one of the biggest issues we've had that I've been saying since last year, that what Pulse Chain really truly needs is an easier way to just get on the chain itself, you know? And I guess that's where the idea of the centralized exchanges come from, right? But I mean, the issue with those is that you need to basically bribe them to actually put your coins on there. And even after you bribe them, like a certain one that we're not going to talk about right now, it's like they just take the money, run off, and then delist it again, you know? So yeah, it's tough. But I do think as soon as we get a dismissal from the SEC, I believe we're going to get that, by the way. I do think that it's going to be so much easier for all these exchanges to be like, hey, you know what? This is actually good. And they'll start listing it at that point. Open the floodgates.
No, you're
Can I say
completely.
something?
Please
take it away, Ninja.
That news about the Internet Money Wallet is huge. You know, it's a lot of motivation for me to get rid of these cards, which you can't see. Let's see if I can. There you go. So these are just like stock promotional cards that when I go fill up my car with gas, when I go to the ATM, I just leave in the slot where you put in your debit card, right? So this is like kind of grassroots shilling. And having a direct fiat on-ramp with Internet Money, I'm definitely going to update this card and put that on there, because that's just like super easy steps to get people directly onto the chain. Because that, like Nate was just saying, it's such like a hurdle for people mentally to be like, wait a minute, like none of the normal apps that I've heard of like list this thing. I have to like use a bridge to like swap. I have to buy 3 different things to buy the one thing that you're talking about. Like it doesn't make any sense. So with this, it's just like, oh no, it's just this cool app called Internet Money, which is like a great brand just in itself. And then it's like, yeah, then it's like HEX. Okay, cool. Done deal.
Yeah, you could. The business card could now be a QR code.
Nice.
That takes them right to the app. And it could literally be buy HEX in 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 just like that. And
Beautiful.
And it's 5 to 10 minutes max from the time they would download the wallet, save their seed phrase, you know, put their debit card in, get the. I mean, we're talking someone is going to have HEX in their wallet in 10 minutes or less. You can't even do that right now if you were already set up on MetaMask on Ethereum, unless you were already versed in DeFi. But that is the biggest thing holding us back as not only Pulsicans, but Hexicans, is the ease of use and accessibility. Look at Ethereum. You could buy it anywhere. I could on every fiat on-ramp, it supports Ethereum. Every centralized exchange supports Ethereum. Basically, every wallet supports Ethereum. We don't have that on Pulse Chain. That's okay, because on one hand, that's opportunity. The harder something is to acquire and access and use in crypto usually equates to you're in early, yet you are the one who's going to capitalize on the opportunity the most. Are we going to make X's on Ethereum? Yeah, probably. But how high is it really going at this point in time? Those major gains were already made when the people who knew how to access it could and did. If Pulse Chain is to be successful, we're those people now. Yes. And so by making things easier, and we as a community talking about the things that are making it easier for everybody, it's going to help the entire ecosystem grow. All the protocols you believe in, all the tokens you believe in, HEX, insert token here. Internet Money's making it easier, and the more people that support it, the more the ecosystem will grow.
KG, while we're on the topic of things in the system, as a dev yourself, do you look around Pulse Chain and the HEX ecosystem and like think to yourself, there's something missing here, or there's space or a niche for people to build a new project that just doesn't currently exist?
You know, I think at this point in time, from a technical standpoint, we have every project we need. Yes, there's always more stuff. We could have more games, more dexes, more this, more that. Yes. But we have everything we need. What we don't have is ease of use and really large, widespread support from the influencers in this community for builders. Not just Internet Money. It's that the people who have the most reach and the largest voices are the people most reluctant and reasonably to some extent, most reluctant to talk about the builders in this community. So that really, it's not the technology that we're lacking. It's the ease of use and the support. Your channel, you guys support the builders, and that's incredible. We need everybody at every level supporting the builders.
That's fair. Ease of use is definitely something that will help onboard more people. But one of the key tenets of DeFi and crypto in particular is like the whole not your keys, not your coins thing. And if you give up that seed phrase, you are absolutely wrecked. So how do you balance ease of use with good fundamental security?
Man, the biggest thing in hot wallet security is give people the ability to use hardware wallets, right? That's very important in terms of security. But also the internet money wallet doesn't collect any data. And when I say no data, I mean absolutely 0 bits of data, which I don't know another wallet that can actually say that. Insert wallet you think does that, and it probably doesn't. I don't know of another wallet in crypto collecting no data. That is huge because we don't know anything about anybody. And it's not just seed phrase, it's IP addresses, it's phone type, it's nothing. So a lot more goes into security than just how is the seed phrase stored. Obviously, that's a major part of it. But to ultimately answer your question, the way that we balance ease of use with security is just making sure that every feature that we implement has security in mind. And it's kind of an abstract answer because there's inherent risk in hot wallets. So there's a degree of the technology that exists that we can't really control, but we make sure everything stays on the user's device. We make sure it's encrypted for that user only. And none of that data in any way, shape, or form comes back to us. And our code is completely open source, so anybody can verify that. So we're constantly getting, publicly audited. We have security audits available on our website, and our entire dev team, everybody who touches the internet money wallet is American-based, 100% doxed. We know their social security. We know where they live. And now that won't prevent anything, but they're going to think that if they do something wrong, we know exactly who they are and exactly where they live. We know who they're related to, and they will be held to the full extent of the American government. They can guarantee that, and they know that. So security is completely multi-tiered and multifaceted, and we truly take it into account in every little aspect of what we do.
Hey, KG, quick question. Zenith, sorry, buddy.
All good, brother.
Would it ever be possible to build an application within Internet Money Wallet where you could actually stake your HEX also directly from the wallet? So like you could now swap coins, you can stake your HEX, you can onboard and offboard fiat. Like you could almost build like a Richard Hart ecosystem wallet that literally does everything. Is that something that could be possible in the future?
It's possible, and it's on the roadmap. What our initial aim was is to check off all the quote basics, right? Security, no data collection, privacy, and then things like in-app swapping, because we have cross-chain swapping as well between 27 different chains. We are now coming out with the fiat on-ramp. So we wanted to get what we felt was a fundamental baseline for what a wallet needs. And then we can start to get really cool in these types of things, like building a front end for HEX staking right from within the wallet, where you can, some of us that use Staker, while it worked, very cool technology. Well, that can be implemented in such a way that what happened with Staker won't happen, right? So basically having that whole dashboard of tracking your HEX stakes, staking right from within the app, you name it, consider it yes and on the roadmap.
That's awesome.
That's super
That
cool,
is
man.
so bullish.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel so much relief just hearing that because you're very much enabling the financial revolution. And we know it's on Pulse Chain, but you're enabling that. So thank you, KG. It's like, yes, it's coming. Yay.
Yeah, I mean that's very huge because like even when onboarding my sister, I'll let her know, grab ETH on an exchange, send it to the bridge, go on Pulse Chain, go to PulseX, and then when she wants to do it again, what do I have to do?
Exactly.
Like now, if
Exactly.
now if you can just do it in like less than 10 minutes, not only is it easier for the person doing the onboarding, the onboardee can now onboard more people easier, and it can just make laughs all the way to another 10,000x. So that's definitely huge for the whole ecosystem.
I'm glad
For sure.
you both see that and you all see that. And the more that people support us, every person in the community supports Internet Money. We already have, we're about to hit 62,000 downloads. So we already have widespread support. But the more that everybody continues to support Internet Money, it truly is. Yeah, of course, we want to be a successful wallet product naturally, but it really does help the entire ecosystem. And the more support we get, the more we're able to build out these features. So it's actually compounding. Internet Money Wallet gets more support. We get better features that helps Pulse Chain and Hex, that then gets Internet Money Wallet more support, that then helps out Pulse Chain. It just becomes a compounding interest effect for benefits of the ecosystem. Because when you're out there interacting with crypto, people are using a wallet unless they're on a centralized exchange and they stay there forever, or they're a gigabrain developer who's running blockchain through their command line. 99.9% of humanity that's in crypto is using a wallet. Look at all these blockchains. Look at Cardano and Ethereum and Solana. They all have awesome wallets fully supported by their community. Pulse Chain doesn't have. Pulse Chain has the awesome wallet. It just needs full community support, and we're getting there. So more that people support it, better it's going to get.
Love it. While we're not too far away from the hex staking idea, I did have a question for the panel, and please dox yourself to the extent that you're willing to. But I wanted to ask you guys if you have any like favorite hex derivatives tools, or if you use the HSIs instead of the native hex stakes. Like for example, I just pulled a hex stake out at the beginning of the year, and before I did it, I made sure to go mint all my Hedron and my COM token. And granted, it was like $5 worth of COM, but I'm like, you know what? Still something. Can buy more hex with it too. What do you guys, you got any favorites?
COM is one of my 3 favorite coins between Hex, Incentive Token, and COM. And there's a man named Johnny Sachs who put together a video that's on YouTube where he explains something that he calls the secret weapon, which is a automatic marketing plan to use COM to benefit people who stake Hex for 15 years. I'm telling you, COM is awesome. And I just, I'm doing what I can to make it successful. I think if we get that coupon rate to a certain point, it's just going to propel the price of Hex to Saturn, man, because it's like if you can get your cash value back in COM that you staked Hex with, that's a no-brainer. You're getting Hex for free. So that is definitely my favorite Hex derivative as far as the potential that it has to excel the performance and the price of Hex.
That is also my favorite hex derivative, would be COM. And because they're the hex COM fusion, hex and COM, I just think of them on the same level, because staking hex long term, you get free COM, and then like Tim was mentioning, you could take that COM and trade it back into hex, and then stake more hex, get more COM, and you have a cycle. Even especially with a high coupon rate, then you're getting lots of free money. And we need to, well, I would love if we got to the point where whenever people think of hex, they also think of COM in the hex COM fusion, because that's such a big onboarding tool. And it's not taking anything away from hex, but elevating it completely, elevating and promoting long-term hex staking, which brings the hex price up.
Yeah,
COM
I
is.
think.
Go ahead, Brendan.
No, well,
I'll hop in after you.
No, you go first, brother. You haven't spoken in a while.
I wanted to say, like, I love the HSI system. I love the Icosa Hedron stuff, how you can mint Hedron, whether you have your Hex staked natively or as an HSI, a Hex stake instance, for those of you guys that are not familiar. The quick little elevator pitch for the Icosa Hedron ecosystem is it allows you to turn your Hex stakes. It gives you the opportunity, if you so wish, to turn your Hex stake into a tokenized NFT, and then you can send that Hex stake to other wallets. So if ever your seed phrases get compromised, if ever that wallet gets hacked or something, you have the opportunity to move your hex stakes out of that wallet. You don't have to, like, when you stake natively, the hex is stuck in that wallet, and that's perfectly fine if you're down for that risk. And that's the only way to get communist, by the way, is to stake hex in the native form. If you stake in HSI, you unfortunately do not have access to the communist token, which, you know, it's fine. It's just people need to understand this is a tool that exists out there. And the other thing that I wanted to point out is the new protocol, the actuator protocol, allows you to do something very, very similar with by staking out to a day 7,000, 5,000, and 3,000. You can mint what are called the hex time tokens, and it's HTT 7,000, 3,000, and 5,000 respectively. And when you stake your hex out to those days, you can mint a number of those tokens. I think that the protocol takes a 10% fee of whatever, like if you stake 100,000 hex, then you get 990,000 HTT tokens. You can then take those tokens, sell them on the open market, and they trade. Right now, they're trading at about 70% the price of what hex is. So if you take 100,000 hex, you stake it out, you get, like, you know, your 90. We'll just say, you know, 900 or 90,000 HTT tokens. You then swap those for hex, which gets you like 60,000 hex tokens. You then take those, stake them out to day 7,000. You get into this little recursive loop, very, very, very similar to communists. But the nice thing about the actuator protocol is that when you take your hex stake and you sell it to the protocol in exchange for those HTT tokens, those HTT tokens are worth 1 hex at the time of redemption. So whenever that end stake comes to fruition, whoever in the contract decides to end stake your hex stake that you traded those tokens for, they get that initial principal, and you get all of the interest that your hex stake has earned during that time. So you get to retain your hex stake's interest at the time of redemption, and you get to capitalize on the now value and trade it for whatever the price is of HTT that's swapping for hex at the time. So depending on how big the liquidity pools are and what the price is looking at, like, you can get into this super recursive loop where you stake the hex, you pull out the HTT, you use that to buy more hex, you stake that hex, you use it to pull out, and it allows you, at least at the prices it's at right now, it allows you to like 4x the amount of hex that you have staked after, like, until you basically get, like, you know, dribble down into nothing. That's much like that Greek mathematician dude Zeno or something like that. But it's super awesome protocol. So shout out to Alex, the magic beard guy, as Sami likes to refer to him, for making icosahedron. And shout out to Bill from C3 and the folks at the actuator protocol for making that super cool actuator. And then finally, shout out to the communist guys. Like, those are this stuff is some of the coolest stuff that exists. And, like, we're only getting started, folks. We're only 5 years into Hex existing. So, like, just think about the stuff that's going to come out in the next 10 years before Hex finishes its first true, like, cycle. So, Brendan, I want to toss it over to you, bro, so you can hop right off of that. I hope I didn't steal your thunder with the actuator stuff.
I mean, of course you stole my thunder, bro, but you explained it so much better than I would have explained it. You did a phenomenal job on that. And I just want to add one thing. So you mentioned that if it's a native stake, you can mint com token. If it's an HSI stake, you can mint Hedron. You can't mint both. If it's an HSI, it's Hedron. If it's a native stake, it's com. Now, also, actuator protocol runs off HSI stakes, right? So if you have a native stake that's staked out to day 7,000, it doesn't work with the actuator protocol. So that's the only little bit of a drawback with actuator protocol is it's mostly for new stakes that are done through HSI. But it does give you ability that if you're looking to stake something, that as Will said, you can stake, take out that hex, or sell your HTT token that you took out, sell it for hex, stake that hex again, take out your HTT token, sell that for hex, take it out again. So you're actually really compounding the amount of hex that you have and the amount of interest that you earn on that hex. Now, you might not pay back all those HTT tokens. Now, you always have the ability to pay those back and get your hex back, your initial hex. You always earn your yield, and you always get that yield even if somebody redeems you later on. So if you don't ever put your HTT tokens back into the protocol, somebody else can do that and take your hex that you had put into that I don't want to call it a vault, but kind of put into that vault, that stake. You still retain the yield, and you retain those HTT tokens. So those can be redeemed for somebody else's in the future, or you can sell those in the open market for something else. So it really gives you a lot of sort of liquid ability that, like, okay, hey, I'm afraid to stake out 15 years, but now maybe I'm not as afraid because I can bring some value out of that stake in case that I need it in a really serious situation. Maybe my wife's ill or something happens. It gives you an ability that it's almost like a failsafe. Will, did you want to jump in there? It's like
I wanted to add one thing. You can mint Hedron no matter how you stake your hex. So Communist is only native and Actuator is only HSIs.
HSI.
You can mint Hedron in either one of those two protocols. So no
Yes,
matter how
because you have
make
the
your
E and the P side. Yes.
So you have to stake twice as much hex to take advantage of both of them.
Well, until someone makes the HSI version 2.0 that does both, but I don't know if we'll ever see that. And the original point of me bringing up the whole question was, obviously we love everybody that makes all these great Hex products, and Hex itself was launched as a finished product. So if you want to keep it simple, stupid, that whole thing, just go with Hex and just do that stuff. But at the same time, this is actually something that Bill was the one that really drilled into my head, because he has that TradFi background, and he was talking about the big players in markets, traders, financial types, the Wall Street folks. They love having more tools and more leverage at their disposal to make more money. And when I look out at the ecosystem and see people building on Hex and iterating, whether it's Icosa Hedron, doing the HSIs, or even the Watsa NFTs, and even doing things where like you can sell the HSI, turn it into Icosa, use that for auctions, go get T-shares on a discount even. And then even the communist guys that are trying to reward people and build a bond market like system where you're trying to incentivize people to go long and really incentivize those rewards. It's like the more tools we have, the better it is, and the higher chance we have at attracting some big players into the space who see the opportunity, just aside from the product, which at its face is pretty perfect. I'm not going to lie, but even more is better, right?
Add value, right? That's what all these protocols are trying to do, is add value to Hex. Hex is great and perfect and immutable, never down, great, amazing tokenomics. Like literally, how many people have copied Hex tokenomics? It's literally was first of its kind. It broke the mold of of tokenomics within crypto. Like there's so many people that have copied this, but now we're talking about, adding additional value. And this is what the builders within the ecosystem are doing. And it is amazing to see. And look, nobody's perfect. No protocol is perfect. Some people make mistakes, but if we can really build up the people that are trying to do good things and really trying to come together as a community, that's going to help bring more eyes in, and more infighting kind of drives people away a little bit. But look, you're never going to get rid of all that. But look at 9 of us on here having a great conversation. So it exists.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to think about the passion though that people have too. I do think that that's something. Obviously, if people are fighting and it's looking ugly, yeah, okay, that's not a good look. But even if there are fights and you can just see that pure passion, that right there will cause people to look twice. Because right now, one of the issues that they've been having with Solana meme coins is rug pulls, right? It goes up and goes back down. Well, they kind of cracked the secret, and I can't remember the dude's name who cracked this secret, but he's becoming kind of a main character right now. Murad, I believe his name is. But he said literally, like, when I go into a meme coin, the reason why I've made so much money in them and have not gotten rug pulled so much is because I look at the community first. And what you're looking for is cult-like behavior. And ultimately that means there's a lot of passion involved, right? There's a lot of passion involved, and people want the token. People want the coin. They want to continue to be in that community no matter what happens. And if you look at Hex, I mean, it did go down 99%. We're all still here. And we're all loving where things are about to go. And that's the point, right?
Yeah, the Hex community is the strongest. It's the strongest, and it ranks so high up there on Murad's list. It should be on Murad's list, but it's the ultimate strong community in crypto, and we survived the worst bear market, and we're all here pumping our bags. So yeah, we're gonna do great this cycle. And we have to keep pumping. Keep pumping.
Yeah, and we're making all our voices heard. And Richard Hart's fighting for freedom of speech, which is huge to live. Because like that was the main reason why I got into Hex, and just not just Hex, just like blockchain in general. Because like back in 2021, when the president of the United States gets banned off of all social media platforms, and I'm like, what is happening here? Whether you like the guy, don't like the guy, or indifferent, that is crazy. And so when you find out that crypto is censorship resistance, and not only that, Hex is a finished product, so there's no Richard Hart tweaking the algorithm of the smart contract. No, it's done. You get in, you can stake or not stake, whatever you choose, however you want. You make the decision, and then you go on with your life. And like it's the ultimate freedom right now.
Well said. By the way, Mr. Hex Ninja, it looks like you had something you want to bring up there.
Yeah, appreciate you guys bringing up actuator finance. I've been trying to wrap my head around that recently, and I'm come to the conclusion that I only want to stake 5555. Like, especially now that the protocol is brand new and they have the yield farming opportunity to earn their ACTR token, right? So I did a Quattro Cinco stake, and I took out as many HTT 7,000 tokens as I could, which is like the same as the principal. I sold half those US dollar value into HEX, and then I started yield farming for their token. And so it's like the more people that do that and take out loans, the more of that little 1% fee goes to the ACTR stakers, right? So it's like having a loan that like pays itself back over time. And meanwhile, I know as long as I don't touch that liquidity pool that I put in there, it's like, what's the risk of impermanent loss if you're pairing HEX with HEX on day 7,000? Like eventually all your hexes, hex equals HEX, right? So it's like, what's this minimal risk of impermanent loss plus a yield farming token that generates essentially HEX, because it generates the HTT tokens, which is again like backed by HEX. So I'm like, I'll just do this and then wait for what I surmise is to be the market top, and then I'll sell some. And then like if the market crashes, well, then I can buy back my HTTs and get my original HSI stake back. Or let's say I don't know when the market top is, and I just completely don't understand the market, which is most likely, and I don't have enough fiat value to get my HSI back. But the thing with HEX is I can approximate how much HEX I'm going to have in the future based on my staking ladder, right? Because like I know how much the daily payout per T share is. I know how many T shares I have. So, I don't know how many penalties are going to be. I don't know exactly how much I'm going to have, but I can make a conservative guess. So as long as I sell less HTTs than HEX I have coming out in the future before that HTT is due, I know I'll be able to pay off and get my HSI back no matter what the price of HEX is, because I know how much, because like the HTT token is always going to be less than HEX no matter what, unless some crazy whale just like pumps the price, which wouldn't make any sense. The market would like correct that immediately, right? So I mean, like, am I wrong here? Like,
no, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, we talked about it earlier with like even the communist guys, which is that if you can incentivize people to stake longer, but then also give additional functionality to those long stakes, that theoretically is going to be possibly the best case scenario that we have. I hope I can share this with folks, but I had 3 big brain level up moments when it comes to staking. First off was Crypto Kool-Aid, really beat it into my head. Shout out to that guy. He said, T-shares and staking are the use case and the magic of HEX. If you are holding liquid HEX, you are encouraging inflation upon yourself. The second moment was actually last year in Vegas when Access Live gave his key point presentation. I really hope there's a video of that somewhere. But he showed a picture of the HEX staking chart by length and then the amount of money per coming out at each date. And then he also overlaid a healthy bond market on top of that, which is effectively staked dollars with the U.S. government, which is guaranteed to pay you out that, which is like, oh, okay. We're not just in this to try to get quick gains on HEX, but if you can actually build a healthy ecosystem around it and incentivize people to go long like the communist guys are doing, that's going to be beneficial. And then the final one, again, was the C3 actuator guys, which is if you can build that effective bond market, not only is it creating stability, it's giving people more tools. So it's all around the T-share. The T-share is the use case. If you can understand that, you're going to do great. And I guess the final point is, Shout out to Crispy Man. I'm pretty sure he was on stream earlier, if I'm not mistaken, or he's on tomorrow. But he did a fantastic stream in the past recently with Matty Allen, by the way, talking about how being a whale in the ecosystem sounds hard. But go look at T-shares in the year 2039. It's a lot easier to be a T-share whale than you realize, as long as you're willing to stake it out that long.
Yes.
And I just, sorry, Tim. I just want to say, if anyone is curious about Actuator Protocol, we have a long deep dive with them, multiple hours on the DGen Roundtable. So go check it out. I did put it in the chat. They're also going to be on later this week. So definitely watch them. Tim, sorry to interrupt you there.
No problem. I just wanted to add to what Zenith was saying about the biggest incentive to stake long-term is the simple fact that HEX is a finished product. It's got 100% uptime. It's never failed. It's never been down. It's got a better track record than most blockchains. It's got a better track record than Google and the Federal Reserve and the United States government. All of these things have had to shut down temporarily for one problem or another. HEX doesn't have any of that. We are here 5 years on with a perfectly operating product. And the reason that's so important is the challenge that I personally have with onboarding people, and I was sharing this in the green room, is that they're afraid to stake long term. And it's like they watch the price chart every day and, they pull their hair out when they see a green candle. And it's like, you own what you paid for. It's just the value of that changes every day with the market. If you stake it, you don't have to worry about the price until your stake is due. And, if people would just grasp that basic concept and just understand that we have a working product that is as integral as anything else that exists on the planet. It's like there'd be no reason for people not to put as much of themselves into it that they have available. Whether it's their money or their talents to make apps like KG's done, or to do marketing like Crypty talked about with the balloon. It's like even the worst of us can serve as bad examples. But it's like we all have a part to play in making this successful. So that's kind of like my outro for this roundtable.
Oh, quick comment. Guys, we started HEX with 11 million T-shares. And now we're just under 9 million T-shares because the T-shares are deflationary.
Yep.
So there's not going to be many left in a few years. There's not going to be many T-shares left. So you definitely have to stake now because we're in the 8.9 million T-share range now, and it keeps decreasing. That's all for me.
This is good. KG, I want to give you an opportunity. Oh, yeah, you're already going, broski. I was going to say, take it away, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot that was just said in the last 20 minutes. And that, while if you're out there listening, can be very overwhelming, right? You might feel like you just opened up a fire hydrant to take a drink of water. But if you take away anything from that, where else are you going in crypto that people are not only building on the base thing this much, but are building at such a level where every reality is considered. And if it's not, there's somebody in the community that's going to find a way to make that non-considered reality slightly more efficient and profitable. It is the innovation and the motivation of this community is truly unmatched anywhere else in crypto. So if anything, all that talk should have left you feeling bullish about the power and the passion of the community. So I know that it can get overwhelming for people who all those concepts are new, but if you're one of those people, just take away how awesome that was.
Thank you. Yes. Any other closing comments?
I think we should all give a little bit of a just maybe go around the horn, starting with Will, as we did with the start, and everyone just give maybe what they want to say to everybody, like their closing thoughts, like, hey, this is what I want you to remember. This is what I want to get you excited about, or hey, you gotta be worried about this. Just give some advice to the people out there that may have either not been in Hex as long, or have been worried recently due to red candles and all the FUD surrounding the SEC, Interpol, and all the other BS going around. Will, you want to
Brendan, is there a certain type of advice that we should not give on the internet openly?
Yes. Financial advice. No financial advice.
Where's that hat of yours?
This is none of this stuff that we talk about here on this stream is financial advice. You guys are all free to do everything that you wish to do. You can keep your back straight. You can keep your fluffy slippers on. You can have nice squeaky chairs and tell your mom and dad that you love them. You can stake that Hex Cuatro Cinco. You can sell everything that you own and go buy big giant piles of gravel. You guys are all free. That's what I would tell the folks at home. You guys are free to do everything that you want to. You're free to click that sell button. You're free to click that buy button. You're free to invest long term. You're free to invest short term. You're free to hang out here on the Hex conference with us. You're free to do anything that you like. None of the stuff that we say, like, we're all just like, let's be honest here. We're all just a bunch of assholes on the internet, like talking about the things that we like and telling the campfire stories that we think are the coolest. And honestly, like, there's nothing I would rather do. Like, the Hex community is some of the finest assholes I've ever met. In all of my travels, in the Marine Corps, in yeah, there you go. I mean,
you say that, but he probably has one.
I'm not going to confirm nor deny this, but like,
what I think
the Hex community is some of the coolest people out there, and I love the freedom, I love the sovereignty, I love the kindness, I love the positivity. Just everything about Hexkins is great. So what I would like, if I could get you guys all to do one thing, or actually two things. One, enjoy your freedom, and two, go out there into the world and meet Hexicans. Like, go to Hex conferences, go to Hex meetups, do all that sort of stuff. So that's what I would encourage you guys to do, is find people in real life and enjoy the time that you have on this earth. You only get 30,000 days of life on average, and so use them wisely and hang out. You can spend 5,555 of them staking out some Hex if really so you desire. You know, do those things. That's my thoughts on what I would pass to the audience. Mr. Tim, what would you tell the folks at home if you could tell them something?
I would build on what you said, because I haven't mentioned this yet this evening, and that is the value of the community. Get to know people in Hex, and that will build your confidence level. I mean, you don't have to like everybody, but the fact is, I've traveled all over the country to meet people in Hex, and some of these people are like family to me. It's like I would go out of my way to help certain people that I've developed relationships with, you know, if they needed me, because of what we've been through together over the last 5 years, not only with stuff coming against us, but just the things that we've cultivated just by getting to know one another. And, you know, some of my best friends are people that I consider are Hexicans. So it's worth it just for that alone. I'm telling you, you won't regret getting to know people.
I do not regret getting to know Tim at a lovely Pulse Chain conference where we literally reviewed engineering drawings of his house. It was immaculate, I have to say. But shoot, I guess the area of expertise for me would be the legal route. And I got to say on that front, like, if you've ever heard the idea that you are still early to the crypto game, guess what? Chances are you are still early. We are absolutely early to the Hex ecosystem and the Pulse Chain ecosystem. The winds are changing and the pendulum has swung. And I think there's only going to be more winning to be had in 2025. It all started back when the SEC tried to come after Richard Hart. I know a lot of people back in the day, July 31st, 2023. I remember the day, the giant red candle. A lot of people are saying that this is the 5D chess. This is the plan. I didn't believe it then, but I kind of believe it now that he knew at some point this fight might come. And boy, let me tell you, that legal team he hired, they are worth every penny. Absolutely. Everything has been going down in it. Their responses, the actual IRL stuff in New York City, it's been phenomenal. I feel very good about it, and that's only one of the pieces going on. There's a lot of good crypto news coming out in the United States in particular. That's where I focus my research on. But shoot, we're getting wins left and right. Go look up the Fifth Circuit Court in Texas. They've had some massive wins, whether it's the broker-dealer rule getting overturned, whether it's even freaking Tornado Cash getting a win down there. Of all things, like, yeah, the winds are definitely going in the sales of crypto right now. So yes, you are still early to Hex. You are still early to Pulse Chain. The people that have stuck around this much will be rewarded at some point. Again, not financial advice, but this is just Uncle Z talking here. You are still early. You're in a great, phenomenal position. Do not fumble the bag. It's gonna be okay.
Word.
I can go. Well, I can say, is Bitcoin a scam? Well, I mean, it's hovering around $100,000 right now. There's Bitcoin ETFs now, probably more to come down the line. Is dollar a scam? I don't know. If you're holding dollar, you might be hurt by inflation. Is inflation gonna go down? We don't know. Is Hex a scam? Well, with Hex, when you stick your Hex, you get you get more Hex. You pay more Hex with the inflation. So I just say that because like I'm trying to like explain to a friend that things like Hex is a scam and like Richard Hart's a scammer, and I'm like, yo, like you really need to dig deep and try to understand T-shirts because it can get complicated. But like there's all of these content creators on YouTube. This is where I learned from. I learned from Crypto Coffee, Dollar Cost Crypto, all these guys. And once I understood, I'm like, oh wow, there's something great here, and that is the community too. So yeah, not financial advice, but like if you're new to Hex, like really do your research, really look into it, and just don't see like everything you see on the internet calling Richard Hart a scammer, because like it's almost annoying because like when you understand it, it's like you get it, but like when you're trying to explain it to people, they can't see it, but eventually they will. Yeah. Who's next?
KG? Or who's
all right,
next?
thought we're going that way. So yeah, I echo the sentiment. You know, going back to what I said a few minutes ago, just gonna reiterate, when you're out there teaching people about this ecosystem, remember the easiest way to get into it. InternetMoney.io on Android, iOS, and Chrome. Still bullish on Hex, still bullish on Pulse Chain, bullish on crypto, and I hope the American government burns.
Excellent.
Literal hot take. Literal.
Mr. Hex Ninja, what are your thoughts, amigo? And Crypto we'll go after Hex Ninja, and then Brendan, and then we'll finish off with Mr. Nate.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for being here. Really, of course, Maddie for organizing this for everyone. Really enjoyed my time here with you guys. Just shout out to the community. This community is phenomenal. Like, people don't realize that you can't fake us, you can't buy us, you can't do nothing. Like, this is all organic growth, like grassroots crypto. I love this so much. This hat, this shirt, these cards were all gifts to me for just showing up at conferences. So this is like incredible. This means so much to me. I'm gonna like shill my design for a second here, because for me, this is what we're all about here.
Go for it. Go for it.
Your own bank. Of course, you can't see it.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Right?
BYOB.
Awesome.
That's cool, dude.
We love it.
Dude, that's awesome.
Right? So, like,
Looks really nice.
BYOB, be your own bank. If you're in Hex, you're your own bank. Like, I don't know what else to say. Love y'all. Thanks for having me.
Drop the link. I'm buying.
KSB.TV/shop. Shout out to KSB.TV.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Hex Ninja. Outstanding. Miss Crypty, what do you got? What's your message to the audience?
My closing thoughts are that Hex on Pulse Chain today has $22 million of liquidity, which is more than most of Murad's top meme coins. And Hex on Pulse Chain has $8.4 billion market cap, which is more than Murad's top meme coins. And with all of that, and with our censorship, CoinMarketCap deliberately putting us on page 31, with our market cap supposed to be putting us on spot in the top 30 on page 1. We're supposed to be on page 1. With all of that, no tier 1 listings for Hex. We're massive. $22 million in liquidity? We're doing such a great job. And right now, Richard Hart is fighting for the rights of the whole crypto space, for freedom of the whole crypto space. And I'm just so excited for 2025 because we Pulse Chain is the number 6 DeFi chain by volume today, and we've accomplished all this with the no tier 1 listing. So we're really going to be legends this year. So I'm excited.
I guess I'm next. So I think what you're trying to say, Crypty, is you got to fight for your right to freedom.
Yeah.
I believe that's what you just said to me.
Yeah.
Let's remix this BC Boys song. Let's get it going. Get some Richard Hart in there. Anyway, I just want to thank each and every one of you for being on this panel. This is a lot of really smart people, a lot of great Hexicans, a lot of people that are really deep into this community. And I haven't talked to all of you individually. And so this was really a great time to get to know you guys a little bit. I hope, really look forward to meeting you in person in the future. Thanks to Maddie. And my one piece of advice as we leave is, like, you guys have given so much great advice about Hex and Pulse Chain that I want to say, look, be ready to get rich. Like, you may or may not financial advice, but be ready to get rich, because if you get rich and you're not ready to, you're just going to lose your money. So you have to be financially ready. You have to be mentally ready. You have to be spiritually ready. You have to be physically ready. You have to, like, improve your life in so many areas that when you get rich, you're ready for it. Okay. And so investing is not just, hey, I want to make mad gains, which we do, but you have to better yourself in a lot of places in your life to actually make those gains worthwhile in the future, because money doesn't make you happy. And if you're not okay with who you are and where you are in your life, then money isn't going to help you. So make sure that you are ready with who you are and where you're at mentally and physically, that when you make those gains, you're ready to actually enjoy them. So, for me personally, if I make mad gains, I already have a plan. I have a nonprofit that I want to start in the future. So super, super hopeful that that's going to be a thing. And look, I mean, if I don't make mad gains, it's going to be a thing. But you have to be ready, and you have to plan for it. And if you don't plan for it, you're going to fail. So that's all I got for you. Nate, the Ascending Man, take it away, buddy.
Yeah. I'm going to continue on with what you're talking about. You know, money is nothing more than a tool, guys. And you can use that tool for many great things. You can also use it for many bad things. And so every single day, what I think you should be doing is trying to ascend to a new level. And so if you're a little bit better tomorrow than you are today, that is exactly what it is that you need to be doing. Frankly, everyone who's watching, you need to be backing up the truck into this ecosystem, in my personal opinion. Now, not financial advice, but this is what I'm doing, okay? There are so many extremely, unbelievably bullish things where you may have Solana meme coins going crazy into meme super cycle and all that going on. However, there's something else happening. And just like what happened last cycle as well, you usually have the Bitcoin halving season where it's like, okay, something is taken off. And then all of a sudden you get more things that pop up. When last time it was DeFi 2.0, right? And this is where Richard Hart just absolutely knocked it out of the park. You know what? I can tell you right now, he's going to knock it out of the park again. Okay. There's a lot of things that are just kind of boiling under the surface currently. And I mean, the prices are so low right now. What are we? We're 23x under what Cardano was when they didn't even have smart contracts, right? Maybe you should put some more money into this ecosystem and try and be as involved as possible. That's what I say. And that's what I'm going to do. And every single day, I'm going to be trying to ascend my crypto bags. So with that being said, I guess I can go ahead and send it over to maybe Will to pull us out, or
send it.
Will, before you take us out, buddy, I just want to tell people, I don't know if people remember this, but Hex all-time high was September 2021. It is January 2025. We are many months away from 4 years from Hex's all-time high. Just remember that.
I am totally happy to send us out, but I believe that our fine host Maddie will send us out, because I do not have any of the stream leader permissions. I've just been flying by the hip here. So Maddie, thank you, broski, for giving us this opportunity, giving us this platform to chit chat and just develop this friendship and talk to the folks at home and share these crazy awesome ideas and everything, dude. You're the fucking G for putting this stuff on. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and toss it back on over to you, bro. Take us away.
You guys all did an outstanding job speaking here on this panel today. I want to thank you all, as well as all the speakers that we've had so far in the first night of our 4-night conference for hexconference.com, the 5th annual. I want to thank the sponsors, Today we had fiat.io. Tomorrow we have Texit coin. And I want to thank everybody who's tuned in and watched, everybody liking and sharing the content. That makes a big difference. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't have been able to get the speaker that I got on day 3 if it wasn't for all the social proof that we have here in the community. And that's, I'm talking about Bobby Lee, a Bitcoin billionaire, the guy who had the largest crypto exchange in the world in 2016 to 2017 in China and the world. So yeah, I'm super excited to be interviewing him on day 3 of the HEX conference, but we've got great content coming up all of the next 3 days. And so, yeah, again, thanks to everybody for tuning in, and we'll leave it there. Until next time, stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.
Enjoy the conference.
Thank you for having me.
Now shout out your last things now.
Oh yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
thanks
Thanks, Maddie.
It was nice meeting all of you guys.
Yes, it was great hanging out, guys.
Peace.
Now the world gon' see things will never be the same ever since we launched our own thing on our own chain. Bar HEX for 4 years, trying to DCA. Got post chain, post sec, trying to DCA. Now the world gon' see Rich already changed the game, which is why the hell you see me DCAing in the post chain. Bar HEX for 4 years, trying to DCA. Got post chain, post sec, trying to DCA. Now the world gon' see things will never be the same ever since we launched our own thing on our own chain. Bar HEX for 4 years, trying to DCA. Got post chain, post sec, trying to DCA. Now the world gon' see Rich already changed the game, which is why the hell you see me DCAing in the post chain. Bar HEX for 4 years, trying to DCA. Got post chain, post sec, trying to DCA. Now the world gon' see things will never be the same ever since we launched our own thing on our own chain. Bar HEX for 4 years, trying to DCA. Got post chain, post sec, trying to DCA. Now the world gon' see Rich already changed the game, which is why the hell you see me DCAing in the post chain. Bar HEX for 4 years, trying to DCA. Got post chain, post sec, trying to DCA. Now the world gon' see things will never be the same ever since we launched our own thing on our own chain.